Shock Monkey Radio is entertainment for adults, by adults, and the views and opinions expressed here do not reflect upon the sponsors or FXBG Public Radio. For additional information, please refer to the United States Bill of Rights. Stand warned.
Tune to madness down the rage. The world's a jungle stage by stage. Shock Monkey Radio. Feel the static, let it go. Monkey Radio. Twist it down and lose control.
So I had an idea for an invention. It's basically an attachment to a bra, a brassiere. And so it's like a little piece of electronics like that you get in like one of those greeting cards, a little piece of electronics, and it's hooked up to the bra clasp. All right. And when the bra clasps, then it plays like womp, 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 womp. Just once. I was thinking about that. Or when the bra unclasps, it plays the song of ba-da, 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 ba-da. And I think it might be a good idea. Like even one way or another, like you can get it one way or another, It's like, you're making out with a girl and you get the bra off and you get the ba-da, ba-da, it's, I don't know, it's a little extra incentive for us guys, you know what I'm saying? It's like, congratulations. Or even, just something you get for your hubby for his birthday or something like that. So, I don't know, just an idea, just a thought, things I've been thinking about. Bras and stuff. Well, Madman Appreciation Month is off to a hell of a start. I had a root canal while horses watched. I won $200 with the coin of the week, and I rear-ended some poor guy on Mother's Day. Welcome to Shock Monkey Radio. I'm back. Go to patreon.com/shockmonkeyradio to become a patron today. That's how you celebrate Madman Appreciation Month. Or you can send me money through Cash App. You can celebrate that way. Send me money through Cash App. You can follow me on social media and share it with all your friends. Please, this is Madman Appreciation Month. It's not Madman Appreciation Extra Month. Shanae. I told him to do these signs, and I said I want them all to look different. And it's just put Madman Appreciation Month. And Shanae was like, oh, you mean extra month? It's like, no, there's no such thing as an extra month. There's the same number of months every year. But apparently Shanae was best at doing the pencils. So she did the pencils, and the rest of the girls did everything with the coloring it in, with the markers and stuff like that. I just threw them a bunch of markers and glitter and glue and poster board. Like, have at it. Just make sure it says Madman Appreciation Month, not Madman Extra Month. Shanae did all the pencils, and then so that's why they all look the same, and Cassie here, there's always a Cassie in the group. She was annoying as hell. Her voice just like nails on a chalkboard. I didn't spend much time with these ladies, just going to get this picture. I'm just flying into town, flying out the next day. But Esther there, she was a real nice young lady, cute Jewish chick. Of course, I'm joking. None of that really happened. So let's start with my root canal that I had with the horses. You can bring up the picture that was in my room when I went to go get my work done. That's why I didn't do a show last week. I had to squeeze an appointment in. And so they said, okay, we're going to have to pull a tooth and give you a root canal. And this is a quick picture I was able to snap while I was in there. You see the boom of the light in the way, but I was sitting in there and I'm just waiting. I got 20 seconds before the doctor walks in there. So I snapped a picture. It's like, this is going to be awful. And if you look, there's like 8 horses in that picture. 8 horses. And I got to get a root canal. It's not like I already equate horses with negativity already. You had to add this. It felt like insult to injury. In fairness to the oil painting, it is, because it is an oil painting. I mean, the water texture looks fantastic. The sky looks fantastic. The horses, they do look fantastic. They look real enough to be scary. How about that? So I can appreciate good art, even if it is of horses. So if you're wondering why I trimmed, that's because I had to go to the dentist. I wanted to give them room to work. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one behind those 3 horses. All right. That's 6. Huh?
I cut out 2.
Yeah. That's 8. Anyway. All right, you could put those away. They live in my memory already. So that was my birthday. And everyone was like, hey, you're going to get a root canal on your birthday? Well, I mean, it's the time to do it. So it needs to be done. So even though I didn't do a show last week, I did try to provide you with some other stuff like me versus Grok. I know there's no audio to it. It's just watching me drunkenly argue with an AI. But, you know, it's something. I was in a lot of pain. So if it looks like I'm mean to Grok, first of all, he doesn't care. Second of all, that's why. Because I was in a lot of pain. I'm still chewing Advil like crazy. So they didn't give me any medication. So, all right. Let's talk about me rear-ending a guy on Mother's Day. I was leaving Giant on Route 3, far end of the parking lot. And it's where it's a stop sign. You got to merge onto Route 3. I had my flowers and the candy for my mother in the passenger seat. And there's a van in front of me. And he was next on the list to go. You know what I mean? And so I'm watching the oncoming traffic. I saw space. I turned back. I look at his van. He looks like he was inching forward. Looks like he was going. So I look back, waiting for the next gap. Next gap comes. I hit the gas. I turn back. He's still there. I thought he left. I slam on the brakes. Boom. Hit him in the bumper. And we both threw it in the park. Like, oh, no. I said, sorry about that. There's a church parking lot right over there. Why don't we pull out of there so we get out of the way of traffic? And then I'll exchange information with you. And then he took a picture of my license plate. Don't blame him. That's the kind of world we live in, you know. Some jackass that rear ends you might just drive off. So he took a picture of my license plate. Don't blame him. And we went over to the parking lot, and I gave him my insurance information. He did ask for cash first. And it's unsettling, I think, when people say, yeah, you should do that instead. That bothers me. It makes me wonder which is the racket. The bribe on the street from being rear-ended or the insurance company that you don't want to get involved? Because the insurance company is getting involved. My insurance is probably going to go up. It was my fault. I was stupid by assuming he knew how to drive. But, I mean, it was Mother's Day, and my flowers, my mom's flowers and the candy went flying into the floorboard, and I'm like, ah, damn it. And then I had to call her on Mother's Day. It's like, hey, I got in an accident with your car. So, hell of a Mother's Day for all of us. I'm sure yours was much better. I certainly hope so. All right, let's go on to the coin of the week. We're going to move right along because I might take a while with the movie review. Coin of the week is 50 livres. Livres. It's an octagonal coin from Lebanon. The Banco du Liban. That is French for the Bank of Lebanon. And you're like, hey, don't they speak Arabic in Lebanon? Just like that writing there at the top, Arabic script, which is quite beautiful if you ask me. Even if the spoken language is so ridiculous. So it's funny. Like Arabic is funny because the script is so beautiful, but the spoken language is so disgusting. So it's kind of funny, I think. This coin, I'm not good at math, but I think this coin is 1,000% lucky because on my birthday, I bought a scratcher ticket and at $20, and I won $200 on it with this bad boy. And he's not too bad to scratch with because it's octagonal, but even though it's octagonal, it's hard to spin. It's impossible to spin. You get 2 rotations and it's flat. I don't like that. I like coins that can spin. And so let's read about what it's worth. 50 livres, which I think is French for books. French is absurd, but I think in the League of Nations, France was settling Lebanon and Syria and so forth, and that's why everyone in Syria and Lebanon speaks French. They learn it in schools, you know. So 50 livres, 50 books, or 50 Lebanese pounds. At current exchange rates, worth a tiny fraction of a cent, 0.00056 of a cent. Top dollar. So essentially a low-value coin. The year is 1996, shown on both sides, but that looks more like 1997. So I don't know what's going on there. All right, it's stainless steel. It's about two and a quarter grams, about 18.35 to 19 millimeters in thickness and diameter. I'm sorry, edge is smooth. Does that mean there's a variation like between each minting? Stainless steel. Anyway, this one-year type design was minted in 1966. This 1966 design. The obverse side, which is the head side, has the large symbol and the cedar tree, which is the national symbol of Lebanon. Bank de Liban on the reverse side, tail side, large 50 in the center with Livres below it, and Banque du Liban. At least French is a little prettier than Arabic. Encircling the top and the bottom. These coins were standard circulation in Lebanon during the 90s. Due to hyperinflation and currency devaluation in Lebanon over the decades, higher denominations have been replaced in everyday use. Yeah, so I guess the livres are going down in value. It's interesting. Lebanon's an interesting place. First of all, the women are so beautiful. You know, it's do you know? Have you heard of Baalbek in Lebanon? Those stones. So I don't know if you know this. I would have thought ahead, and it just popped in my mind when if I would have got a picture of it. But Baalbek in Lebanon, I think that might be the site where the Tower of Babel was being constructed, and the whole thing is like, hey, we have to keep cutting bigger and bigger rocks in order to make the Tower of Babel bigger. And eventually got to a point where it was like, oh, we can't move this rock. And if you look at like the what are they called? Like, are they called triptychs of Baalbek? They're massive. They're incredibly huge. It's like, talk about ambition, you know? And so, but they're like, oh, I can't move it. Can you move it? I can't think of a way to move it. Anyway, yeah, but these are like pretty much worthless in terms of an exchange rate. But you know, some collectors like myself will pay up to $1 for it. So, coin of the month. I actually have a lot of Lebanese coins. So, some friends, several friends from Lebanon, who's like, "Oh, you like them? I got this worthless stuff just hanging around my house. I make dollars now." I came to America and started making dollars. Anyway. All right, let's talk about The Old Way. Let's do a movie review. It's a 2023 movie called The Old Way, starring, obviously, Nicolas Cage. And I wonder if he gets, like, all the best scripts. Everyone, like, with a really good script is like, give this to Nick Cage. Because it's a fantastic script. And I think it's funny because for years I would make fun of my dad for watching Westerns. And in fairness to me, they're all like black and white old Westerns. And my dad would watch them all the time and I'd make fun of him for it. But as I caught it, it's like, oh, you're watching guys in hats talking tough again, huh? Which is basically what Westerns, especially that era, were. And I think it's funny because I actually do enjoy Westerns because after all, they are action. This, like many Westerns, this is a revenge tale, and revenge tales are very interesting and therefore action-oriented. And so you get introduced to the main character, which is Colton Briggs, Nick Cage. And when you're introduced to him at the very beginning of the film, he's a very cold-blooded killer. He wants the money that he's owed, and he kill people to do it. And so then it's like, okay, this is the character we're dealing with. He's badass. He's a cold-blooded killer and so forth. 20 years later, he's running a store. He's got a wife. He's got a daughter and stuff like it. Seems like a very square kind of dude now. And you start to realize over the course of this film that he's always been kind of weird anyway. And you get introduced to his weirdness. Like, for example, he's running the store. His daughter couldn't go to school because the teacher was sick, and so she went to the store with him. And he opens the store. This guy comes in and starts telling spilling this story. He won't get to the point. All right. He's like, oh, wouldn't you believe it? My mother said, she's like, I gotta make something different for the potluck coming this Sunday. And we usually make the apple pie, and the apple pie, we use the apples over by Mr. Johnson's, the tree growing off from Mr. Johnson's outhouse. And the outhouse, it's got all that poop underneath. And I think it's done plumb right up into the roots and making all them apples taste like shit. And so when everybody was eating the pie, they're like, this is a horrible pie because it tastes like shit because you get the apples from the outhouse near the outhouse. And the whole time Nicolas Cage is just sitting there staring at this guy. Did you need something, sir? Oh, Mama needs some flour. It's like, okay, how much do you need? Oh, a pound to do. So he goes upstairs to go get flour. And you start to realize that Nicolas Cage's character and his daughter's character have a lot in common, because you start to see that they're both kind of obsessive compulsive. They're both kind of standoffish in terms of relationships. They're very matter of fact and logical. And you see the young girl, she's like, oh, that guy tried to steal some jelly beans. His hands were dirty. I want to clean them all. So she starts dumping all the jelly beans out, wiping them all down and putting them back in the jar. Then she's like, wait a minute. And she starts taking like a bunch of different jars and starts cleaning the jelly beans, sorting them by color in every different jar. And that's what she does that day. Meanwhile, her mother and his wife was being murdered at their farm. He finally goes home and he finds a bunch of lawmen who are chasing these outlaws who happened upon his wife, in quotes, and, killed her. So, spoiler. And the U.S. Marshal recognizes Colton Briggs, and he's like, oh, that's it's the actor who played him. What's his name? Seeley? Nick Searcy. Yeah, I kind of went way off script here. Yeah, he did an excellent job, because he was like, oh, Colton, I remember you. I've heard about you. You're kind of a crazy killer. And he's trying to be polite in front of the young girl. He's trying to be polite. I do remember you. It's good that you have a family and everything, but bad news. And so Nick Cage and his autistic on the spectrum daughter, father like daughter, they decide to burn the farm and hunt these guys down. And at first, Nicolas Cage, Colton is saying, you're coming with me. And then she's like helping him. It's like, yeah, well, shouldn't we get another horse if we're going to catch up with these guys? Because she knows what's going on. She says, they're both kind of on the spectrum. And so I think when they call it the old way, it's what people would call, who are on the spectrum back in the day, would have to learn to assimilate in some way in order to live in the real world, depending on whatever time they live in. Like, for example, there weren't any doctors back then saying, oh, you're on the spectrum because you like separating different candies into different colors. If you ask me, I don't think that that's so weird, or that it needs to be treated or anything like that. It's just, hey, colors matching stuff goes together. It's like this girl's bikini. That doesn't match. The one in the background, her bikini doesn't match. She's out of place. That's why she's in the background. It's human nature. It's not something that needs to be treated. And back in the old day, people who were on the spectrum or autistic, they had to learn to assimilate. And he has a conversation with her about, you can't fake cry. And it's like, I don't know how to cry. And it's like, well, you want to live in this world. You want to fit in. You got to learn to do what they do. And he's like, you remember at the funeral with the lady who lost her kid, cry like that. Like, wah, wah, my baby. And she's like, wah, wah, my baby. It's like, that's going to have to do. And so it's about how, the old way is learning a way to get along in the world, regardless of the way you take in information or process information or even relate to other people in the world. It's not like they're sociopaths. All right. They did have feelings. They do have feelings, people like this. They just do not show it as often openly. And so people like that, people like me, we're on the spectrum, and I appreciate the marshal, because he had a frank conversation with the young girl, and he's like, it's a real good thing what your mama did. Your daddy was a killer. I wouldn't say he necessarily took an evil man, but he was definitely a killer, and your mama did a good thing by settling down with him and taming, that wild beast. And I thought it was a really good thing for the marshal to say. And I remember being a young kid and appreciating adults who spoke to me frankly and didn't talk down to me like I was a child. And I got that kind of feeling from that guy, Nick Searcy. He had a fantastic performance he put in. And I'm someone who would have been classified as on the spectrum as a child if I were born these days. I appreciate people who spoke to me frankly when I was a kid. Especially when it came to tough questions. We all had to learn how to be normal enough. And we may be part of the last generation who escaped labels like autism, ADHD, etc. So the old way, 2023 movie, 12 of 13 stars, had to be a daughter, didn't it? Couldn't have been a son. That'd be sexist if it was, right? Besides, here's how I'm going to ruin the ending for you. Spoilers. First of all, the store would have been ransacked by everyone in the town back home because your family was weird and they heard the wife got killed and you disappeared. They figured you're probably never coming back. So there would be no inventory in the store and it'd probably be destroyed. And I bet the young girl would be in the brothel within no time at all. Spoiler, sorry, not sorry. All right, I'll talk about one more thing before we get into the news. All right, so some people are like, hey, there's way less dash cam videos. There's way less dash cam. And as you know, there's a YouTube channel called Dash Puppers. My dog runs, but he all of a sudden lost interest in it because he went full goth. He's like moody all the time. I'm just kidding. I did that with AI because every single video I make of him is almost exactly the same, and I want to get like different stuff, and unfortunately that takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and I don't want to hire anybody to do that because I'm broke as it is. So if you're seeing less dash cam videos, it's because it's the same dog. I love him to pieces, but I mean, it's the same dog doing the same things. It's not like my show where it's like, at least he talks about a different coin. If you did a show with Dash, he'd be talking about the same ball he likes to chew on all the time. So I'm sorry. I'll try to get more videos. I just wanted him like different places, doing different things. Cause the only time I get, some of that is like if it's a holiday, something special, and we take the dog with us to go see the family or whatever. Like that one video on Dash's channel where he's fighting his sister. That's all they do. Him and his sister. That's all they do when they get together. It's wrestle, fight. He's freaking out in the car on the way over there, but sleeps on the way back. Anyway, let's get into the news worth knowing. All right, this old computer taking forever to load. As Trump lands in Beijing for high-stakes Xi summit as Taiwan. This is taking forever to load. That's not promising. U.S. to test U.S. strength on trade and peace. All right, this is not coming up. I guess it's because of the live updates channel, and this computer's just too old. So Trump went to China. Let me see if I can remember it. What happened? Yeah, he's going to China. They came out and greeting, like welcome, welcome in Chinese, and I was like, okay. And there's a lot going on in the world, and so I do not envy Trump's job, because talking to people, especially leaders of foreign countries, it's intimidating. It's got to be intimidating. I mean, for example, I think there's tons of people that could speak frankly with Donald Trump. Like if you packed a random person on the street and said teleported them to Donald Trump, is there anything you want to say to them? I bet you they'd have the guts to say it. But if you teleported them in front of Xi Jinping, you have anything to say to him? It's like, I don't even understand his language. Who is he again? And the answer is Winnie the Pooh. That's Winnie the Pooh. So obviously there's a lot going on, especially when it comes to Iran. There's a lot that's going on when it comes to China stealing intellectual property from the United States. There's a lot going on when it comes to China's need for oil, which has been coming from what's it, Venezuela and Iran lately for years, and now China's in a position. So I mean, I wonder if Dick's just going to throw his Trump on the table. Do you understand what I meant? When it comes to this, it's like, look, I'm going to give it to you straight. I got the biggest Trump in the room. There's a tattoo on it. What's it say? It says Trump, of course. Oh, my God. It has taken forever for this to load. So, go to Cash App. Send me money to buy me a new laptop. All right, let's go to this next story. I think it's because it's such a top story. There's a lot of media associated to load with it. So ex-MLB pitcher Noah Syndergaard blasts Zoran Mamdani as Mets dysfunction reflects New York chaos. Syndergaard calls New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani a lunatic who never really held an actual job beforehand. When sports ball players, when they retire and they want to get into the commentary game, by all means. I mean, you got to understand, it's like when you're in your mid-30s as an athlete, you're kind of slowing down. It's the young man's game. It really is a young man's game, no matter what professional game it is. And so, I mean, but if you have like experience of living in the league and knowing the teams and knowing all the players and so forth, absolutely get into the commentary. And even if the commentary involves politics, by all means. So the apple is rotting from the inside out, lead paragraph says, and former Mets ace Noah Syndergaard knows who to blame. Appearing on Outkick's Tommy Loren is fearless. The ex-MLB pitcher unloaded on the state of his old squad and the political climate in New York City. With the Mets languishing at the bottom of the NL East, Syndergaard suggested the problems go beyond the bullpen. Yeah, the Mets at the bottom of the NL East, no problem with that. Fine with me. Speaking with Tommy, who is a Mets fan, Syndergaard addressed the departures of fan favorites Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso. For him, the shift in the locker room reflects something bigger than happening in the city itself. Quote, it's kind of also ironic, Syndergaard told Loren. These two guys are some of the biggest conservatives I played for as well as with Jacob deGrom. The craziness that's going on in New York. But I mean, he went on to say, if I played with the Mets or the Yankees, I'd be like, oh, this is freaking awesome. Like, could I block out the crazy part and focus on, what I need to focus on, get a kid's game? Hold on. Like, I could block the crazy part out and still focus on. I get to play a kid's game in one of the greatest cities in the world. You can work on your diction, perhaps. Albeit run by a lunatic, or I don't know, he's 34 years old. Like, I'm 33. I can't imagine being a mayor. That's a good point. The lunatic in question, Zoran Mamdani, the Democratic Socialist mayor. Syndergaard, who bled orange and blue for 8 years. Damn, up key doesn't work. Expressed disbelief that a 34-year-old man with Mamdani's resume is running this world's most iconic city. Good point. He went on to say, well, he's like 34 years old, never really held an actual job beforehand, Syndergaard said. For the Mets, the curse appears to be more than just bad luck on the field. The Amazing have struggled to justify a massive payroll with little to show for it. Loren pushed the criticism even further, taking aim at Mamdani's political history and describing his, quote, bent towards communism and globalizing the Intifada, quote, end quote, as the primary rot at City Hall. When asked what advice he would give the struggling franchise, Syndergaard went off. Stop hanging out with socialist mayors. He's I guess probably. I hate saying it, but at the end of the day, the Mets are going to Met. I think I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to kind of say that because I bled orange and blue for 8 years, made it to the World Series with them. Just kind of disappointed to see who they're inviting into their clubhouse, and B, the lack of success they're having. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We have a huge payroll and it's not creating great dividends for them. All right, that's all. I don't know, business talk when it comes to how a team is run. But I think he has a point when it comes to, Democratic Socialist mayor who had never really had a job before. And he's terrible. Yeah, wasn't he like Zoran Mamdani? Wasn't he like a rapper? And just useless. And it's the same thing with being like 33 years old, or 33, 34 years old. I remember when I was 25, I was thinking, maybe I could run for office. And then I was like, I'm 25 years old. I am still a moron. I don't think I'm ready for that kind of responsibility, even if I'm running for local mayor of Fredericksburg or something like that. I don't think I'm ready for that. Who is that guy that Adam Scott played in Parks and Rec? Ben? Yeah. Yeah, like running as a kid seems insane. I mean, that should never happen, obviously. But I mean, even at 25 years old, I knew I was dumb. I was too dumb to do any kind of political job. Too dumb to handle that kind of responsibility. I was 25 years old. I just got out of the Navy. I wanted to drink and party and meet chicks. No way I could handle the importance of running a city. All right. Same thing at 35. At 35, I was kind of an idiot. But I mean, even then, I guess I could have handled the responsibility of something small. Certainly not run New York City. 45, I'm like, I don't even want to get involved anymore. I just want to talk about it. What pisses me off about government. I don't want to get into that mess. I'm too tired at 45. But now I'm 49. Madman Appreciation Month. All right, let's go on to this next story. Excuse me. All right. Vance-led task force cuts off $1.4 billion from home health. Hospice providers suspected of fraud. Task force has suspended hundreds of hospices in Los Angeles alone, with estimated theft exceeding $600 million. This is exclusive to Fox News. Vice President J.D. Vance's anti-fraud task force has withheld $1.4 billion in federal funding from home health and hospice providers nationwide, following a wave of suspensions enacted by the anti-fraud task force targeting operations in California, Minnesota, and several other states. Approximately 90% of the suspended providers have not reached out to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, the agency is tasked with combating fraud, waste, and abuse, since payments have been suspended. You should not have broke that sentence up, man. Approximately 90% of the suspended providers have not reached out since payments have suspended. Payments are paid out by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, the agency which is tasked with combating fraud, waste, and abuse. You shouldn't have split that sentence, man. Trump administration officials told Fox News Digital that they believe a lack of communication between the alleged fraudulent providers and CMS indicates that the providers were not legitimate enterprises. The jig is up. The suspended group includes long-term providers who have been pocketing federal funds for years while failing to communicate with CMS. A senior Trump administration source told Fox News Digital. Quote, the vice president's task force continues to stop the flow of taxpayer funds before they fall into the hands of fraudsters and deliver savings to the American people, a spokesperson for Vice President J.D. Vance told Fox News Digital. This is a great momentum in the fight for the president's war on fraud. President Donald Trump has made the eradication of systemic fraud a cornerstone of his administration's domestic policy. On Monday, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz blasted California officials of the state's hospice crisis, charging that the fraud is stealing your lives and pointing to a sophisticated web of international graft. Quote, we've got Russian government involvement, we believe, in Los Angeles. Jeepers. We got the Chinese government involved in a big fraud ring in New York, Oz told the guest host Kayleigh McEnany on Jesse Waters' Primetime. And, of course, the Cuban connection, pointed out to me by former Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. We've got twice as many durable medical equipment suppliers selling wheelchairs and canes, and there are McDonald's in South Florida. The owners often flee back to Cuba with the money the moment we move in on them. Correct. You know, it's like I've said this before. Like, you know, during a riot, you don't need to shoot every rioter. You shoot one or two, the rest will get the message and go home. All right. I know this is like some people might think this is cruel, but this is the reality of the world we live in. You know, if you're working a 7-Eleven and a bunch of people, if a bunch of lunchtime rowdies storm into your store and start snatching stuff off the shelves, you only need to shoot one or two of them, and that'll never happen again. All right. And we need to start understanding that as a society, instead of saying, hey, you shot two people of 40 who tried to break into your store, so we got to send you to jail. It's like, no, I'm defending my life and my property. We need to come back to the thinking that that's how we need to do things now. And when it comes to law enforcement, if you're in like Philadelphia and you see all these tranked out assholes on the street, you start cuffing them. You start cuffing them and throwing them in jail. They're going to start doing it in quieter and in private places. Or they're going to go to jail. Same thing with illegal immigrants. You start going after them, you start cuffing all them, and then they're all going to self-deport. Same thing with these fraudsters. You say, hey, we're coming for you. They're going to be like, okay, we're out of this illegal game we've been playing, at the very least, and maybe even self-deport themselves because they know we're coming for you. And that's the point. Not only should we like shoot one or two rioters, we should come after legally everyone else as well. Kick them out of the country. And it's like once people realize that law is going to be enforced, that's like 80% of the battle. You start arresting all those criminals and you start throwing them in the back, and let them whine and cry on social media. Let them get a FOIA request of their body cam. But we all see what happens out there with the body cams. We watch them all. Bring back justice. I miss that motherfucker. I've been saying it for years at this point. All right, let's go to this next story. New Hampshire woman says Planet Fitness canceled her membership after she reported a man in the locker room. Woman says she encountered someone she believed was male near a shower area at the Concord location. You believed it was male? She was like, New Hampshire woman said Planet Fitness canceled her membership after she complained about seeing a man in the women's locker room last month. Judy Walcott, a longtime member of Planet Fitness location in Concord, New Hampshire, told Fox News Digital she felt unsafe after encountering someone she believed was male in the women's locker room near the shower area on April 11th. Too much back hair? That give it away? Quote, I was shaking like I was actually trembling because it freaked me out that bad, she told Fox News Digital. Walcott said she reported the incident to a young employee at the front desk who told her there was nothing staff could do because it was company policy. She claims the employee did not check the locker room while she was present. She said she raised the issue again 4 days later with another staff member because she had safety concerns and said the employee called her transphobic instead of looking into her claims. Quote, she showed concern until I started telling her that there was a creepy guy in the ladies' shower on Saturday. Nobody checked him out. Then before I could say anything else, she interrupted me, telling me she thought she knew who I meant and what a wonderful woman that is. Walcott told Fox News Digital. Well, the guy was really nice. Said he was a woman. She said the conversation went downhill from there, alleging the staff member did not address her concerns, instead repeatedly called her transphobic before she decided to walk away. A couple of hours later, Walcott said the gym's manager called to tell her her membership had been canceled for a policy violation. Quote, so I asked her what policy did I violate. I didn't violate a policy. I asked about one. And she didn't answer me, Walcott said. Walcott said she later checked her account online, said that she had been charged for another month. She also said she found a member cancellation or freeze form in her account that requested cancellation dated April 15th. A copy of that document, which Fox News Digital cannot authenticate, shows an April 15th cancellation request with effective date of May 16th. In that comment field, she says, the form says non-discrimination trans. Walcott alleged the cancellation form was submitted without her authorization and said she believes her signature was forged. Okay, so there should have been her signature on it. Walcott said that after seeing she had been charged for an additional month in the days following the incident, she returned to the gym on April 17th to use the remainder of her membership. She said the manager again told her that the membership has been canceled, and the two argued over whether she was owed a refund. Walcott claims the manager told her she was not getting a refund before calling the police. When officers with the Concord Police Department arrived, Walcott was given a warning not to trespass on the property. So she could take a form, sign my name, charges me money, extends my membership, and then calls the cops on me. Like, what the hell? I feel like I'm living in upside down land, Walcott said. Correct. You are living in upside down land. Guy in the woman's locker room, and they're charging you for being transphobic. Correct. And here's the thing. The culture is changing. All right? Trump's presidency still has a lot of time left in it. It's got to seep into the culture a little bit more. But Republicans are not going to have control forever. All right? Because if Democrats come back, if they get in the majority, if they get back into power, they're going to start pushing this nonsense again. This is not going away. All right? We need to end this kind of nonsense. Just like I was saying with Law and Order, about arresting people, about shooting rioters, or about telling guys who dress up like girls, like, quit. I don't care if you want to dress up like a girl. Just don't be a pervert and walk into a woman's locker room. Do whatever you want to do at home. Record whatever TikToks you want at home. And anyone who wants to go looking for that absurd nonsense, they can go find it. But stay out of women's locker rooms. You're making them uncomfortable. And I don't know about you, but as a man, I don't like it when anyone makes women uncomfortable, especially if it's a man sneaking into their locker room. And I don't want to hear an argument like, well, if you pretended to be a girl, you can go in the women's locker room. Yeah, but I'm not openly a pervert. And when you dress like that, when you try to sneak into women's locker room, I'm sorry, that's overtly pervert behavior. And the cops should have come and arrested the dude that was in the woman's locker room. And Planet Fitness should protect its members from dudes in the woman's locker room. Anyway, getting a little hot. It's going to be summer, but a storm's coming through here soon, so might cool things off. All right. 2 happier stories, and we're out of here. Maybe a little early. I don't know how happy this is, because I don't want to be on the side of a pornographer. What was that, Boogie Nights? It's like, I'm an actor, not a pornographer. This bank is not going to help you. I'm an actor, not a pornographer. Now, you could be both. All right, so hundreds of thousands of dollars in stolen goods recovered at a used car lot after adult toy company purchase. Now, usually I don't like long headlines, but I think this is like, there's so many details to this story that you kind of have to have that long headline. So undercover officers found DeWalt tools, Nike jeans, Yeti mugs, and Acer computers among the $500,000 in recovered goods. Los Angeles Police Department got an assist in recovering stolen goods recently from a European company that manufactures high-end adult toys. The company found its stolen merchandise being sold online and bought some of it. The unnamed heroes then turned to the shipping address over to the authorities, who traced it to a used car lot. Excuse me. The LAPD's Cargo Theft Task Force and partner agencies raided the business and found more than a stockpile of sex toys. Undercover officers found a little bit of everything, reported ABC7, which was granted exclusive access to the hundreds of thousands of dollars of worth of stolen merchandise, in addition to the high-end adult products. Okay, they couldn't film and like show the adult products on TV. So this is the other stuff, but the adult toys is what led us here. But here's the other stuff that was stolen. All right, so in addition to the high-end adult products, they found acoustic drum parts, power tools, boxes of jeans, and more. We've seen DeWalt, we've seen Nike, we've seen our stolen product which brought her here in the first place. He was referring, of course, to the dildos. In the event of a dildo, we have to use the indefinite article. A dildo, never your dildo. It also found Yeti mugs and Acer computers, all thanks to the sex toy company, which goes to the old saying, don't play with those sorts of toys unless you want to get screwed. I think that's an old saying anyway, not in quotes. That's terrible writing. I keep forgetting the up key doesn't work. I gotta get the writer's name at the beginning, I guess. Sean Joseph. Too much opinion. Hey, editors, what are you doing? Fortunately, we're in the capital of cargo theft, both train and commercial cargo theft, out here in Los Angeles, the undercover detective added. Following the raid on the used car lot, police made an arrest. They arrested Peter Ahubim of Beverly Hills on suspicion of receiving stolen property. A good Christian name. They said they're about a quarter of the way through the items seized from the car lot and storage containers related to the case have already reached $500,000 in recovered stolen goods. LAPD, oops. What, did I read that right? LAPD wants people to be more cautious when shopping online. There are no return policies. If there are no return policies, incredibly low prices on items Let's say, for example, high-end adult toys. These could be signs that you're buying stolen merchandise and keeping the thieves in business. Second-hand sex toys? Ugh. What a job by the brave men and women, European. Okay, adult toy company. Okay. And that's not in quotes. That's something the writer wrote. What's his name? Sean Jacobs or whatever? They took down what appears to be a decent illegal operation, had everything, except for the awareness to ship items from a different location for the used car lot, and allegedly filled to the brim with stolen merchandise. Yeah, well, you heard his last name. His IQ is probably about 70. All right, let's go to this last story. And I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could do what this guy did. All right, this is again Sean Joseph. You can only trust yourself to represent you in court after pooping out stolen Tiffany diamonds. The Texas man is facing serious time and convicted for Tiffany jewelry theft, has decided to represent himself. Another 70 IQ guy. Speaking of 70 IQ guy, Sean Joseph, excuse me. Listen to the way this guy writes. Who could forget the story about the man claiming to be the assistant of an Orlando Magic player who stole more than $700,000 in jewelry? He captivated the country for 2 weeks last spring after swallowing the stolen goods. Why 2 weeks? Because that's how long it took for nature to run its course and for police to retrieve the expensive earrings he ingested. I'm just thinking about, there's sharp parts of earrings. How do you get that down? How do you keep it down? Jathan Lawrence Gilder, a reported convicted felon with a lengthy rap sheet, was taken to a VIP room of a Tiffany & Company jewelry store in an Orlando mall after allegedly claiming he was an NBA player's assistant. He grabbed some of the jewelry they had laid in front of him, and he headed for the door. He reportedly struggled with the sliding glass door before shoving an employee out of the way as he made his escape. Police caught up with Gilder in Florida's Panhandle, where he decided to swallow 2 sets of diamond earrings worth roughly $770,000 rather than hand them over to police. Oh, my God. Police then took him to the hospital, producing amazing x-rays revealing what he was later confirmed to be. Then after he pooped him out, he was the missing Tiffany diamond earrings he was accused of leaving the store with. Quick question. Do you think they're more valuable now? Or less? As if the story up to that point wasn't enough. As if the story up to that point wasn't enough. Quote, the man who pooped Tiffany diamonds, as the smoking gun has nicknamed him, isn't finished. He decided to add his poop show to his poop show by representing himself in court. See what I mean about this guy's writing? That's right. Jathan Gilder. That's right, comma. This is how he begins a sentence in a news story. Jathan Gilder has rejected a plea offered by the prosecutors and decided to represent himself at trial. A recent court appearance, the judge granted his request to waive his right to counsel. He will have his court-appointed attorney available for consultation when he enters the courtroom next month in Orlando for the burglary grand theft case. The 33-year-old from Texas has been in jail since his arrest last year. What's the worst thing that could happen when representing himself? Well, he's facing some serious time as a habitual offender if he's convicted. TSG reports that he could face up to 30 years for robbery with a 15-year mandatory minimum up to life, with a 30-year mandatory minimum for grand theft. This is the last paragraph. On one hand, it may not be wise to take this on alone. On the other hand, you don't want a lawyer trying to explain how stolen earrings ended up in your poop. If anyone is going to do that, it should be you, right? This is terrible. This is terrible. I understand it's Outkick and it's different from Fox News, but I mean it shouldn't show up in the Fox News main feed. I just want to throw that out there. Fox News. This is going to be the end of the show. I want to remind you again that I have a Patreon. It's Mad Men Appreciation a month. Show your appreciation by becoming a patron today. Thank you. Or you can send me money through Cash App. Use the hashtag shockmonkeyradio. All one word. You can send me money that way. Or you can follow me on social media at DNALATSAW. That's the word wasteland spelled backwards on Twitter. At SLRobbins13 on Instagram. And Shock Monkey Radio Redux on Facebook. This has been Shock Monkey Radio. I'm the Madman. And I love you.
The madman loves you all, from the big to the small.